This template shows two vertical waterfalls for a calculation scheme with two additional tiers for the absolute and the relative variances. At the left-hand side, this template shows two vertical waterfalls for a PL calculation scheme. At the right-hand side, two additional tiers show the absolute and the relative variances of these two waterfall charts. This template can be used best if the calculation scheme of different scenarios plus variances must be presented. The number of bars, calculation lines, can be up to 20 or 25. Dimensions. Dimension is limited on maximum 3 dimension. First dimension should be an array of strings that contain some sort of descriptions. Second dimension should be an array of strings that contains the type of the rows that will be displayed. This dimension should only contain the strings. L stands for non-total and non-bolded rows. T stands for total and bolded rows. Third dimension should be an array of numbers that contains the cost type of the rows. This dimension should only contain the numbers. 1 stands for profit rows, -1 stands for loss rows. Measures. Measure is limited on maximum 2 measures. First measure, calculation of the previous year. Second measure, calculation of the actual year. Appearance tab consists of couple tabs in Chart 12 representing following settings: settings, scaling, number formatting, measure function, titles and description, font, colors, layer settings, layer color, comments, Excel export, PDF export. The property can contain the next value. 1 represents AC actual period, 2 represents PL plan period, 3 represents FC forecast period, 4 represents PY previous year, 5 represents layer user 1, 6 represents layer user 2, 7 represents layer user 3. The property can contain the next value. 1 represents AC actual period, 2 represents PL plan period, 3 represents FC forecast period, 4 represents PY previous year, 5 represents layer user 1, 6 represents layer user 2, 7 represents layer user 3. Suppress empty. The property can be activated with checking or unchecking the checkbox or with expression button, FX. The property can contain next values. 0 show all rows, 1 show only the rows which have a description, when dimension 1 is not null or empty. Number of rows that user wants to be displayed on the chart. If is not specified, will be return all rows from data model. Row height defines the row height in pixels. Description width. The property can contain the values from 1 to 3, 1. Small description width, 2. Normal description width, 3. Large description width. Highlight value. For collaboration with your coworkers, you can use highlight property to present value what is not correct or not satisfy corporate need. In this property you need to add number what is incorrect, and that number will be highlight with color what is defined in color section and property highlight color. For example, if we need to highlight value 713 on chart, simple add number in the property. Percentage limit defines the percentage limit of the percentage bars. If value of the bar is bigger than the value specified in this property, it will show an arrow. For example, if the user set property to 100, then all percentage bars which value is greater than 100 will have a triangle arrow, without the small percentage box. Show bar border property give more visual presentation of the bars. Surrounding the bars with the border. Border can be defined with different colors. In section color, selecting the property border color, user can use different colors. Difference lower value defines which values, numbers will be displayed in a color that the user defined in the property difference lower color. This property only affects difference columns. For example, if the difference lower value is 50, and the difference lower color is red, all numbers that are less or equal 50 will be colored in red. Difference upper value defines which values, numbers will be displayed in a color that the user defined in the property difference upper color. This property only affects difference columns. For example, if the difference upper value is 100, and the difference upper color is green, all numbers that are less or equal 100 will be colored in green. Percentage lower value defines which values, numbers will be displayed in a color that the user defined in the property percentage lower color. This property only affects percentage columns. For example, if the percentage lower value is 50, and the percentage lower color is red, all numbers that are less or equal 50 will be colored in red. Percentage upper value defines which values, numbers will be displayed in a color that the user defined in the property percentage upper color. This property only affects percentage columns. For example, if the percentage upper value is 100, and the percentage upper color is green, all numbers that are less or equal 100 will be colored in green. Scaling, visualization consists of two components. There is space where data is displayed, and then the objects that represent the data. The point is that size of the value represented with bars is very important. The scaling drastically affect the visualization, and the story that it tells. In Chart 2 are representing 4 scaling option for different user needs. Manually use of scaling, using drop-down menu and selecting manually, you set property to 0, then the bar scaling depend of amount. Bar length, percentage amount and percentage bar length property, auto scaling, using from menu you set the property to 1, that is mean that bar scaling is automatically calculated. Use of scaling, you set the property to 2, this property is used for writing scaling by absolute value. Defined expression, is set property to 3 and is used to controlling scaling trot expression. Number format are used to control the display of cell values that contain numeric data. Using the button with questionnaire, will be displayed predefined formats. With simple click on desired format, you can copy and paste in the property. Separators, 2 separators, are available in section number format, and that is, 1000 and decimal separators. 1000 abbreviation, if is used K, in the property then the value of 1000 would be displayed as 1K. Million abbreviation, if is used M, in the property then the value of 1 million will be displayed as 1M. Billion abbreviation, if is used B, in the property then the value of 1 billion will be displayed as 1B. Trillion abbreviation, if is used T, in the property then the value of 1 trillion will be displayed as 1T. Measure function, used for measure, from one bar to another bar and calculate positive and negative difference between two items. To use it, just drag and drop from one item to another. The property can be activated with checking or unchecking the checkbox, or with expression button, FX, using following values, 0, no, 1, yes. The other properties in the measure function section, is used for visual presentation, like positive or negative color, for the positive or negative value arrow of measure, title. Displaying title in this functionality, font family, font size and font color are in function of presenting fonts. Title 1 defines the title of the first part of the chart and is positioned at the top of the chart. Title 2 defines the title of the second part of the chart and is positioned at the top of the chart. Title 3 defines the title of the third part of the chart and is positioned at the top of the chart. Title 4 defines the title of the fourth part of the chart and is positioned at the top of the chart. Total line description 1 defines the title of the first difference total and is positioned under the first difference total and is only displayed if the first difference total is displayed too. Total line description 2 defines the title of the second difference total and is positioned under the first difference total and is only displayed if the second difference total is displayed too. Font, a selection of fonts, as well as changing their properties are placed in the font menu. This menu contains the following properties, that control the properties of tooltip as well: font, size, font color, tooltip font, tooltip size, tooltip font color. Color, a selection of color, as well as changing their properties are placed in the color menu. This menu contains the following properties: highlight color, defines the color of the highlighted value; bar border color, positive color, defines the color of the positive values; negative color, defines the color of the negative values; positive cost. Define the color of positive cost; negative cost, define the color of negative cost; neutral color, defines the color for the values that are between difference lower and upper value. Difference lower color, defines which values will be displayed in a color that the user defined in the property difference lower color. This property only affects difference columns. For example, if the difference lower color is red, and the difference lower value is 50, all numbers that are less or equal 50 will be colored red. Layer settings, properties to define values for maximum of tree users. To set up users must be selected property, behind bar type, left front bar type, or right front bar type for specific user. Example, select in the behind bar type user 1, in the layer settings add value, and set up color for the user. Layer colors, define colors for the users. Comments and exports. With this chart are available comment and export functionality. For those functionality to work, have to be installed on same or dedicated server comments API and export API.